Guys, and welcome back to Just in Time. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk about some of the things I've been learning through the psychology seminars I've been taking online. So I'm sure that we've all been in a position where we're listening to friends or hearing them out loud, and we kind of want to be there for them and support them, but sometimes we're not sure what to say, or we might say things that actually make the situation worse. Now, I will start off by saying that most of the time, when we say these things, there is a good intention behind it. However, because of the bad execution, it actually ends up making, you're actually messing with how they think. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to explain. So when you're talking to somebody, some of the things that we want to avoid saying, that's what I want to talk about today. What we should avoid saying and what we, can kind of like, how we can turn that into something better. So right off the bat, saying stuff like, I know how you feel, I've been there before, all these things are very, very invalidating, because right now I'm trying to share with you what I'm going through, what I'm personally experiencing, and by you just kind of like putting me off like that, saying that I felt that before, other people have felt that before, you're not that special, that's how it's coming off as. However, a very, very subtle way that we can actually flip this to, because what in essence are we trying to say to them? We're trying to say that you're not alone, I have been there before, other people have been there before, you are not alone in this struggle. Because something that I have personally felt is that whenever I'm going through something, I feel like I'm the only one in the whole wide world who has ever been going through this, who has ever gone through this, who will ever have to go through it. And that can drive somebody insane. I mean, it drives me insane last time when I was having these terrible thoughts in my head as well. So a very subtle way that we can kind of tweak this is by actually validating how they feel first. So saying things like, this must be really, really tough for you, or it sounds like you've been struggling with this for a long time. So saying things like this, I kind of reassure them, and then following up with stuff like, you're not crazy in feeling this way. It is not just you who feels this way. I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have been through this struggle. I myself have been through something similar. So you don't say like exactly what but similar to what you've been going through, and I'm sure that there are other people out there who are willing to support you. For me, I knew that was something that I wanted to hear. Hearing people say that, hey, you're not, first of all, just telling me that I'm not crazy to feel this stressed or this upset is something that is very, very calming for me, because at this point, I'm already at a point, like a breaking point. I've already been pushing myself near to a breaking point. So it's good when I hear people saying that, hey, you've been struggling with this for a while, and there are other people who feel this way. So I feel less alone for sure. And then when people let me know that, hey, not only are there other people who may have been going through this, but you can actually create support through this by reaching out to other people and connecting with like-minded people. So that would definitely be something that I would have changed in the whole I know how you feel approach. Now, something that has always been weighing on me for a very, very long time is actually saying stuff like, I've been there, or I have been through it, you can go through it. Dude, that is such horse shit. I just get so worked up every time I think about this, because I had one instance where I was in a church. I had not been to church in a while. I was going through a lot, and I broke down in the middle of the praise and worship session. I was just literally, everybody singing around me, and I'm on my knees. Dude, I'm freaking bawling my eyes out. I'm just so completely out of it. And there was this elderly auntie who came up to me, and again, she meant well. That's why I'm saying that a lot of times these people have good intentions, but it's just the execution. And she she knelt by me, and this is what she was repeating to me over and over again. I've been through worse, young man. I have been through worse, and I've been through worse than what you're going through. You're gonna get through, because I've been through. And I was like, really? Is that the phrase that we're going with right now? Like when you see somebody crying, you're telling them, I've been through worse. Like, it's not about you, woman. It's not about you. So I definitely want to advocate for, please do not say this to somebody who's already so broken. Just let them know that you're there. Let them know that, hey, you don't even need to say something actually, just feeling that hand, obviously when appropriate lah, just feeling that hand on your shoulder, hand on your back, hand on your arm is letting me know that, hey, there is a stranger, there is a friend, but there is somebody who is by my side. There's somebody who's coming to my aid. And that in itself is calming enough. Just let this out. Let me completely release all of this, which actually ties in really nicely to my next point, which is crying. So I have heard a lot of people say, oh, crying is weakness, and actually I was brought up like that as well, because in a typically Asian household, crying for guys especially is shunned upon. You're not supposed to cry. You have to be a man. You have to be strong for all the other women in the family. That is kind of how the Asian mentality I was brought up that way. So I've almost never seen the men in my family cry. I never see my granddad cry. I maybe only see my dad cry once at his dad's funeral. Other than that, zero, nilch, like never, ever. So unfortunately, I think sometimes this spills over into when we're emotional, we're not allowed to cry, or when we're crying, we're showing weakness. This is something I definitely want to abolish completely. Hopefully, the entire society will stop thinking this way. It's absolutely okay to cry, and if you are comforting somebody or you're supporting a friend and they begin to cry, please do not discourage them from doing it. You don't need to ignore it. You can actually... sometimes I feel like I'm coaxing them to cry more because all of that emotion, you imagine, it's just locked up and sealed away, and now when they're beginning to open their heart to you, it actually starts to bubble over and spill over, and all of these emotions rush out that they have been trying so hard to hide, and it comes out as tears. So for me, I want to allow them that release, allow them that type of feeling, to let them just cry everything out. So I mean, for me personally, I would just say that it's okay. It's okay, just let it out. I'm here right now. There's nothing wrong. Just allow yourself to cry. Sometimes I say just keep crying. That one's sometimes a bit too much, I feel. But letting them know, hey, it's okay. Just go ahead. Just cry. It's fine. Just keep crying. I'm here for you. I don't need to ask them to stop, because sometimes people will be, it's okay. They panic because, oh shit, somebody's crying in front of me. Don't cry. It's okay. Stop crying. Don't need to cry on. It's like, you don't need to say these things. Again, you don't want to invalidate how they feel, and you don't want to actually force them to re-suppress all the emotions after it's finally breaking down and coming out. Simple things are just getting a tissue for them, or just again like patting them on the back, holding their hand or their wrist, again when appropriate lah. But most importantly, letting them know that you're there and it's okay to cry. Just release. They have been holding it in for so long. Allow them that time to be vulnerable and to just let all the walls down. Which again, I didn't really plan this, and it's actually tying really well with how I'm trying to flow. It's letting people know that they're strong. So saying you're so strong for holding it in for so long, or you've been so strong for doing this alone for so many years. Really avoid saying that, because when you say that, right, you're actually reinforcing the idea that, so when I was alone dealing with this, I was strong. Which would then mean the reverse is true, that by me opening up to you, this is a moment of weakness. And being alone, settling it, holding it in, not allowing people to see that I'm broken, see that I'm struggling, that equates to strength. And me being vulnerable and opening it up and letting people in, that is weakness. So again, it's the intention. The intention is good by letting them know that, hey, I admire how strong you've been trying to be by settling this alone, but let them know that they don't have to do that. Actually encourage or reinforce the behavior of them opening up and allowing themselves to kind of like let people in and let people support them, because we don't want them to close it off, because you may hinder them from sharing with other people, or even you in future, by telling them that they've been strong for holding it in. Because I'm sure that a lot of people do feel that. I'm sure that I felt that for many years. Before that, I thought that I was a burden. I thought that by me sharing my problems, I was burdening that other person. Mainly, a lot of the thought process revolves around being a burden, which I didn't want to be to other people, of course. But I started reflecting by, hey, I want other people to share their burdens with me, but if I am not doing so, how can I then ask another person to do so? Because it's unfair, it's hypocritical, and the thing is that I'm not practicing what I preach. So right now, I actually am a lot more vocal, I'm a lot more open with that. But again, I don't be silly and go share with the whole freaking world. I mean, you should have a few people that you trust a lot and use them as your support circle. You don't need to trust everybody, because I'm sure that's what kind of burns people. But they simply share, other people talk bad about them, or they share rumors about it. Again, I'm sharing everything that happened to me. So I used to be very open with who I share my, not to say secrets, but my insecurities with. And once it gets out, people know about it, they start teasing you about it, they start coming back at you about it, and that's actually what makes me kind of close my circle more, shut off more, because it's like, walao, I go and everything I do is also everything also wrong. I share also don't share also how also what so like. But again, it just takes trial and error. I slowly got over that, and now I trust a select few people with supporting me. So I think what I was saying just now was if you're supporting somebody, avoid saying that they're strong and all that, but let them know that hey, it must have been so difficult for you to be holding all this in for so long. I'm very, very happy that you actually shared this with me, and I'm happy that you're reaching out and trying to get help. So definitely let them know, can't reinforce their behavior of sharing and opening up to you. And if they need professional help, definitely recommend that to see a counselor, to see a therapist, or their other friends, other close friends who they can trust, that they form a support group with them or for them. So in the online seminar, in the aforementioned online seminar, I just like the word aforementioned. It makes me sound really smart, and I feel very, very posh when I say it. The therapists that have been running that particular seminar let me know something really, really important, and I've been clinging to that phrase. If you guys have noticed, it is you are there to support them, not to solve their problems. And I found that really, really liberating, not only for, I'm sure, them, but I think for me as a friend who is trying to support somebody, especially as a guy. I think that guys were hardwired to fix things. And this is more of a gender stereotype or generalization. And again, it's not true for everybody, but I'm saying that typically how we're wired, men, we want to fix stuff. And women, they kind of want to divide the burden. That's why they share and they talk so much. And because men are not typically encouraged to do, not encouraged, but I think that in society, or how, especially in the Asian upbringing, we're not really taught to share our emotions, So that becomes we not only are we closed off, but every time somebody shares something with us, we think that we're supposed to fix it. So I think that by spreading that little tag phrase, that catchphrase of we're there to support them, not to solve their problems, it really takes the pressure off. For me, it definitely takes the pressure off of me, because I'm like, I am not here to try and fix you because you're not broken, and I'm not here to try and completely remove all of your problems. No, you have to go through what you have to go through, just like I have had to go through what I've had to go through, because it is what shapes our character, it is what builds our character, and it builds us as people. So I think by removing pain from somebody, you are actually doing them more harm than good, but you can definitely be there to hold their hand as they go through this tough time. So support, not solve. That concludes this particular episode. I'm really, really happy that I finally got to film it, because it's been in my head festering for quite a few months. Honestly, I haven't been filming all that often, and I apologize for that. I am really trying to kick back into high gear by kind of changing my perception of what filming means to me, changing my perception of what putting out content means to me. I have always loved doing it. I've always loved helping people and impacting lives, and I really, really hope that as I continue to do that, I will continue to have that result. So let me know if there's any other topics that you guys want to hear about. I definitely appreciate it. Let me know if there's other topics that you guys want to hear about it. I do appreciate your feedback. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, and because it helps the channel. I'm still not used to doing all these outro stuff. I'm going to work on that. But thank you, and until next time.